Well, thank you, Madam Chair. And I want to thank you, all the witnesses, for joining us today on this very important topic.
Mark those off.
It wasn't too long ago that the committee passed meaningful bipartisan legislation to address a very real problem in the country around surprise medical billing. I'm sure all of us here have constituents who've been impacted by surprise medical bills. Erin in my district has told me about a nightmare she faced after her husband was in the emergency room in Wichita. They have insurance, thought they were doing the right thing by going to an in-network hospital, only to find out that one of the doctors who saw her husband in the emergency situation was out of network, causing a massive surprise medical bill. This is happening all too often in hospital rooms and medical facilities across the country, and Republicans and Democrats came together to stop it. The No Surprises Act was designed to remove patients from the middle of the surprise billing, empowering patients with upfront information for scheduled procedures, protect patients when emergency services were provided, and create a fair mediation process for providers and insurers. This bill is a type of common sense legislation that folks like Erin and her husband needed. An emergency room visit or scheduled procedure is stressful enough, but it can be even more challenging if it's followed by an unexpected medical bill from an out-of-network provider. But today's hearing is a reminder why Americans are so frustrated with Washington. The unelected bureaucrats at CMS have failed American people by not complying with the language in the bill we passed, and instead creating a dispute resolution process that doesn't follow the spirit or congressional intent of the law. Even though elected lawmakers passed the bipartisan No Surprises Act in 2020, the Kansans I represent continue to suffer because unelected DC pencil pushers are more concerned with keeping the status quo than helping patients. The failure in the DC swamp has led to fewer medical choices, longer wait times, and higher costs for patients, while at the same time has failed to deliver the transparency this body sought to provide for those seeking medical care. Today, we're calling on CMS, that's entrenched in putting Washington first, to stop slow-walking the implementation process and put patients first. Mr. Brzezinski, I've heard from many providers in my state about the incredible wait times for not only the independent dispute resolution, the IDR process, but also for receiving payment once the IDR process has been concluded. Can you please tell me how many of these IDRs you've gone through and how many that have been paid for successfully?
Yes, thank you, Representative. Of our 8,000 requests for determination at Wellstar, 588 have been resolved. 288, I believe, are in our favor, and unbelievably, only 1/3 of those determinations in our favor have been paid by insurance companies. And the deficiency is with some of the largest insurance companies in this country.
If that process or that approach continues without some change, what's that mean for your business and more importantly, for the patients that you serve?
As mentioned earlier, accounts receivable that are never paid will impact our operations in the long run. We are hopeful that there will be enforcement of the timelines to remit payments to providers who have been successful in getting favorable determinations from the IDREs.
Oh, thank you. And Mr. Boback, I didn't really have a question for you, but I did want to say thank you for raising the comment about the IDR website being closed, that you can't add any more IDRs. I mean, that's one of the things that we've identified by law, this process that should be helping people, and we need to make sure that it's highlighted that it's not being done. So thank you for bringing that up as part of this hearing. I just want to say, you know, the No Surprises Act explicitly required that we have an independent dispute resolution process that should be concluded in a timely manner, and payments should be paid no later than 30 days after the final decision. These considerable wait times must be addressed to ensure that our providers, especially those in rural areas, can keep caring for the patients that need them most. That's really what we want to focus on, is how do we make sure we provide the right care for the right patients, which I think is what all of you are focused on as well. So thank you, and I yield back.